Welcome to episode dose 2 of Hoops Lifestyle Coach's Corner with your boy Tito, Ed, and my boy Ben, Daily B-Baller. So today, you know what I'm saying, we got our guest, our boy, Mr. Team Up Tempo, Mr. Master Trainer, Mr. Clipper Nation,
Mr. Filipino America.
Man. Yes, sir. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just trying to get through quarantine, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure everybody's going through it in their own way. I hope everybody's been healthy and safe. I know a lot of people's going through stuff, but everything's been good on my end. I feel kind of almost selfish saying that, but, everything's been pretty good on my end. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Like family good and everything?
Yeah. Everybody's been pretty much healthy. Outside of my mom has some underlying health conditions, so we haven't really been hanging out with her too much. But we're slowly getting to that, right? We're slowly building our confidence with that. So, everything's good, man. Family's good. I think the kids are going a little crazy, but
Tell me about it, man.
Drives us crazy.
It's hard for them, like, you know what I'm saying, with all this pandemic, shelter in place, can't really do anything, no school, nothing like that, so, I mean, it's like a blessing in disguise, though, you know what I'm saying, you get to spend time with your family and stuff, so it's pretty good.
Right.
I can't really complain. But, so let everybody know who you are, man, and what you do.
All right, so my name is Benedict Meneses. I'm a personal trainer. I've been doing this for about 8-9 years now, something like that, 8 years. And yeah, man, it's just I did it in Northern California when I was up there with you guys playing basketball and doing all that stuff. But I was up in Northern California, and now I'm here in LA now, where I was born and raised. So I was born and raised here in LA. Moved up to the Bay when I was like 24, and now I'm back here in SoCal. Been here for a year now.
Back home. Yeah, so how long you been doing it, man? How long you been doing training and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for 8 years now. But I got into it much earlier than that. Like, I always found it interesting when people were working out, and I was always the skinny kid. But, I played baseball, played basketball, things of that sort. But I always looked at people like they're superheroes when they could do like one chin up or a push up. I was like, I didn't have upper body strength. Right. And, I always would read the magazines and things of that sort and try to figure out what the secret sauce is for everybody. But after a while, man, I was like, man, there has to be an easier way, right? So in my adult, I started working out for basketball in high school. I played high school basketball. But then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I had to start training for jiu-jitsu tournaments. And, for that one, you have to be as strong and as possible and have as much endurance as possible without weighing too much. So otherwise you can be fighting these big old gorillas, right? And that's when I really, really, really started to take my workouts really, really seriously. And I started curating the workouts for my friends and my teammates and things of that sort. So we'd work out, and I would be the one to come up with the workout program. And after a while, everybody would say like, hey, why don't you become a trainer? You always come up with some really good workouts, and you can tell that you really love it. And that's when it kind of planted a seed. I didn't take it seriously at first. I kind of took it as a hobby. But then eventually I decided to pursue personal training. Yeah, I had a Honda S2000. I sold that so I can go to school for to be a trainer. Yeah, so I got all my certifications and all that stuff. Sold my car for it. And yeah, here I am now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The journey, man. The journey.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, you got to do what you love. Like, you fell in love with training and all that stuff. So, you know what I'm saying?
You're a master trainer now, right? I mean, you was considered a master trainer out at you're a master trainer in general, right? Like,
Yeah. So the way that works, that designation works for the company I work for, is it's either a whole bunch of education or experience, like number of sessions done, or a combination of both. But yeah, I would have gotten it anyways because I have a lot of certs and done almost 10,000 sessions now. Paid
damn.
sessions. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's a big number. I really wanted to hit the 10. I was on pace to hit the 10,000 before this pandemic hit. I was supposed to hit it by like April or May, and they give you like a little patch and 10,000 session service.
Yeah.
I find 10,000 session service like a big badge of honor because of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a 10,000 hour rule, right? So like he said that there's no luck, basically. Like there's a little bit of luck in terms of the situation you're at to be able to do 10,000 hours of one craft, but that 10,000 hour rule I find is really big in exhibiting mastery, right? And so if I did it, it's dedicated practice, 10,000 hours of dedicated practice. If I was there just I don't want to be here training these people and I don't really care and I'm thinking about something else, then who cares that I did 10,000 sessions? I wouldn't have got any better. But it's that every session I was doing, I was really trying to get better. Yeah, I was really trying to make my client better and all that stuff. Trying to figure out what we can do next time, what we could do better now, what would I have done differently. And I think that's why I do consider myself to exhibit some level of mastery. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So, when you're training and stuff like that, what's your main training? Like, is it like strength training or like and stuff like that? What do you focus on usually? Or it depends on the client.
Yeah. You mean in terms of like a niche, right? Like what's my specialty? I think my specialty is people and common sense. Right. So a lot of trainers don't have much common sense, in my opinion. That's kind of one of the things. It's like that in every field, though. You're not going to agree with if you take it seriously. You're not going to agree with a lot of people that do what you do. But what I like, things that I've trained a lot of general population, and I've trained a lot of athletes. So it's kind of people look at it as two separate type of client, but really it's all the same. They're just at a different level on the spectrum of where they're at in their fitness journey, right? An athlete is going to be obviously a little further along in their fitness capabilities, but at the end of the day, you still have to do all your assessments. You still have to build the foundation, because even athletes, we just get really good at hiding our weaknesses, right? Like we all got weaknesses, but we just hide it better than the person that works a desk job that, didn't really play sports growing up. They just don't hide it as well as we do. Right. But, there's professional athletes where they get with a good trainer and they do their assessments, and man, you'll find some real weaknesses and you would never think that they were that weak in their core or whatever it is. So I just use some common sense in the way I do my assessments. I build from the ground up. There's always something that you can do to help somebody out, like by keeping it simple. So, I keep it simple. I do have some tricks up my sleeve too to make it fun, but yeah, there's no real secret. I don't have a specialty client, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody, huh? Yeah. So so what's harder? Like, saying, is it harder to train like a regular person than an athlete, or do you have to put in more work? Like, in a regular person, training a regular person?
So it depends. They're difficult in a different way. Like, you got to look at an athlete differently. They want to go all out all the time, but that doesn't always equate to, so for instance, if you want to build explosiveness with an athlete, some of them will rep until they're exhausted. They're like, their legs won't move anymore, or they just like until everything's burning, or they'll run, suicides, and they'll run until they're running slow now. And like, now you're teaching your body to go slow, So that's the trick with athletes is that, you're not teaching, you're teaching your body for endurance. You're not teaching your body to burst, right? And we're not long distance runners in basketball. You know that, right? We got to jump, sprint, cut, all that stuff. And a lot of athletes, they think, all or nothing is all it is. So sometimes I have to take them back a little bit and explain to them that, hey, if you want to be explosive, build that first step. You want to jump higher. Hey, each rep, like say we do 10 reps of something, right? Or 8 reps. I don't say do one set of 8. I say 8 sets of 1, like as explosively as possible. So yeah, you're doing it in succession, but I want you to do it as explosively as possible. If you feel like you're slowing down, just cut the set. If we're building speed, right? So that's the difficulty with a lot of athletes is the training mindset. They really they have a good mentality. They're strong-minded, but they don't have the knowledge to back it up a lot of times. So a lot for them is just educating them, but for a general population, their thing is, you don't want to do too much, right? So for an athlete, you're scared to do too little because then they're like, oh man, this trainer's not even working me. But for the general population, a lot of them, they're scared to be overworked, right? They have kids to go home to, they have they have work to attend to, they got all these meetings, all these things, and you don't want to mess them up, right? So at the end of the day, the best ability is availability. If you're injured, you can't play in a basketball game. If you're exhausted or you're hurt, you're not going to be doing well in your board meeting. You know what I mean? So either whether it's an athlete or a corporate client, they have their own challenges, but just challenges in a different way, if that makes sense.
It's kind of almost. It's like a mentality thing, mainly for both sides. It seems like, for the most part. Yeah. I get you with the athletes too. Like when I try to when I see like other people coaching, and I coach, train some people that I just know, like you were doing jiu-jitsu just for fun. It's like your mentality as the person trying to teach them something or trying to run them through something is like, am I doing enough? Are they getting, are they seeing progress out of, the drills that we're doing, what I'm saying? And then same flip side, like when I worked in the fitness industry too, you're talking to people. When I used to do the sales side of things, you're trying to get them to understand that this is a priority for you. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you're with a trainer like Ben. There's a reason why you're purchasing these sessions. It's because you want to, you see it as a priority right now, but is it going to be a priority later on? And I think that's a hard job for trainers too, is to just keep that consistency for that person. For me, when I was in sales, it was easy. Just sell it to them, sell them the dream, and then they're out. They're out the door.
Right.
And then it's just their journey from there on out is what's really important. And trying to relay that in the sales process when I was doing the membership side was a little bit tough. It took like actually building a relation when they check in, saying what's up, seeing how they're doing, that kind of a thing. But one thing that I really thought was great about a lot of our trainers was that they were there every day, trying to build, and like you said, trying to challenge them. But then it took it's such a different thing, like you said, with your question with the athletes versus general population. It's like trying to find that middle ground that keeps them engaged on both ends, whether it's not challenging them enough or just challenging them so that they can make sure to come back for the next session is tough, right?
That's it, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't stick to the plan, so that's it. Yeah,
100%.
I mean, if you're not a trainer, you're not gonna know how much work that the trainer puts in. Like, what I'm saying? So what type of work do you actually, like, how many hours do you spend, like, meal planning, like, stuff like that? Talk about that.
Yeah, so especially the first 5 years, now I can write out a workout, and like I can make up a workout right now if you just you tell me if you tell me the goals, like I'll do it real quick. But before it's I would plan. I would sit there and write out all my workouts beforehand. So a lot of people don't see the ugly hours, right? The stuff behind the scenes. Those first 5 years was a grind, man. I was at the gym, no joke, sometimes 16 hours a day. Between, there would be times I'd train up to 12, 14 clients a day. And then I have to get my own workout. Plus I'd have to go home and commute and all that stuff, and then go home and take care of the kids. So it was a grind, man. I would be on 4 hours of sleep. And oh man, it was just a lot of sacrifice to get to where I can now write out a workout really quickly. But, you know, before, man, I would reference all my textbooks. I mean, I have a lot of books. And, you know, people, it's there for reference, right? They don't expect you to memorize these books that are this thick, like the back of your hand, right? So they're meant to be referenced back to. And I'll go back, look at it, make sure that I'm hitting all the checkpoints that I feel like is important for somebody's program, you know? So, yeah, that's pretty much it, is just making sure I'm hitting the important stuff, right? Like, and then I'll sprinkle in a little bit I'll sprinkle in some dessert too, you know, like I'll make sure it's fun, you know, like I'll make sure it's fun for a lot of my clients. And you can take something simple and make them more engaged. So you just got to kind of read a person. That's why every single person's a little bit differently. And, you know, that's where you put the personal in personal training, is just making it a personal experience for that person. Whether you're doing a group class or not, you can look at each person in the eye and make sure that person is feeling like they're being taken care of, you know?
Yeah. You got anything, Ben?
No, man, I mean, hit on it. I mean, as far as like when it comes to training, I think that's what we depend on. Like, even for somebody like myself that always tries to try to do a little bit, try to stay, you know, fit in some sense. Keeping engaged is important. I think like somebody like Ben, or, you know, personal trainers in general, they, you know, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them find a way to make it that personal experience. And that's what keeps people engaged and keeps people like coming back and understanding like, okay, I can achieve my goals. Because if it's like a cookie cutter kind of thing, like you see people all the time, like on Facebook, like you see the ads, you know, say like, this is what you got to do, boop, 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 this is what you do. But in reality, like it might not fit that person in particular. So I think the point that Ben made at the end right there about the personal side of things is important. That's a good point, man.
Yeah. See, this why like I started this Coach's Corner, so people can see all the hard work that every coach put in before everything else, because people don't see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never saw it, like, when I first started, like, because I had a personal trainer a long time ago. Like, I'm over there, like, he just doing workouts, like, you know, just on top of his head. So I'm like, oh, man, that's easy. Like, but you never see the side of, like, the behind the scene. So, like, you know, where all the hours that you have to put in to get to that part, to get to where you're at right now, B. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we have this platform, so you can tell, like, you know, so everybody can see, like, you know, shit, like I put in 20 hours a day, like, you know what I'm saying, for like 5 years, like, you know, like all the hard work that you put in. That's why we have this platform, so everybody can know that, yo, it's not that easy just to become a personal trainer, you know? So that's why we have this right here. So everybody can know, like, you know, you can't just become a personal trainer just like that. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that like, oh man, I can like, you know, I can be a personal trainer, but shit, you ain't put in the work.
Got to hurt somebody. Just jump in.
You know what I'm saying? So
I will say that there's a lot of trainers, personal training. There's a lot of people that come and go. It's one of the highest turnover rate in any industry, because by the time like people do it, they think it's easy, and they think they get one of these like lower level certifications, and they think that, oh, I work out, I can be a trainer. And that's the case for some people, but for most people, they see it's a lot harder than they thought it was, because you have to be able to back up your stuff with some science, and you have to have some personality and people skills, right? So some people have people skills, some people have the science, but a lot of people can't blend them together. And I've found that so somebody's honking. But yeah, no,
that's me.
So
I luckily we don't have no cops in there.
It's in Fremont, man. You gotta understand. You know how they roll in Fremont, bro.
Every time we do a podcast, bro, there's always shit. There's
police sirens, ambulances, people honking. Street vendors yelling.
Like, I'm close. It's because it's because I'm close to the main street. That's why. It's that.
That's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I was just like, it threw me off. I was like a dog, like, huh? Yeah. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah. Yeah. So no, people can't blend the people skills and the science. You know, like there is a science though behind it. Because when you try to ask somebody for $1,500 for 20 sessions, right? Like you know, or whatever the going rate is, right? That's just a average or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're asking $1,500 from somebody, like if they don't like you, and on top of that, you sound dumb when you're trying to sell training. Like if you don't come with a proper program, like they're not going to stay with you. And one of the things that I you know, my manager always hook me up and all that stuff because of the fact that they know I can retain a client. And client retention is one of the biggest things. So yes, anybody can go get certified as a personal trainer. Anybody can get certified as a personal trainer. But well, not anybody, but at the same, to be successful at it is another thing, you know. To be successful where you have a constant, you know, roster of clients and people aren't leaving and they're staying consistent with their program, you know, that's what takes the real skill. You know, anybody can get a couple letters next to their name, but you know, the thing is actually executing and making sure that people are actually improving their lives while they're with you, you know. So that's what I really take pride in, is making sure that I'm impacting somebody's life, you know, because they're trusting me to help them out, and I take that very seriously. You know, yeah.
And would you say, my bad, would you say that it's kind of like a mental thing too? Like they come to you guys like personal trainers, and sometimes they come for that escape, you know, like that personal side of things too. Because I know a lot of personal trainers that, like, I have had one lady that she'd been working at our gym for a while. Her name's Rosa. Shout out to Rosa, even though she probably would probably go watch it. But
whoever that is.
shout out to Rosa. But she was a
shout out Rosa.
Yeah, shout out.
I don't even know who you are, but hi.
Yeah, she did a lot of talking with her clients. Like I would watch her, and a lot of the movements were just like whatever kind of stuff. But at the same time, when she would talk to her clients, and she'd have clients for years, dude. And I'm talking about, and they would just talk and talk and talk. I'd be working out and hear them talking. I'm like, damn, they ain't even really working out. But then, you know, it kind of going back to that personal side of things. It's almost like they kind of come to you guys in a like a counselor kind of position too, in a sense. Have you ever had that experience?
Unofficially, we do a lot of counseling. You know, at the end of the day, they become like some of my best friends. You know, I've built some relationships, some great relationships with majority of my clients. A lot of it is like, think about this, right? Like, how long is this podcast? We're gonna spend, I don't know, about an hour together. You know, let's say like the length of a training session. Man, I'm spending sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 days of 1 hour sessions with these people, just me and them. And how many times do you get to say that you go meet up with somebody and for that hour, like a positive outcome is achieved from each hour, right? Like you're going there to do something positive and productive, right? So we're being productive, but we're also having fun, right? So it's a little bit of stress relief, even for me, but it's stress relief for the client. And at the same time, like there's always a productive, you guys always have one of those friends where like, you know, you love them, or that family member, you love them, but you're like, man, I don't really want to go, or like every time I go around them, like, man, like it's just a negative feeling that just overcomes with you. You know, you just get overcome with negativity. You're like, I gotta see so-and-so again. Or you guys are just always like drinking and partying and doing all these things that aren't necessarily productive. You might have some fun, but it's not necessarily always productive, right? But like for me and a lot of my clients, we have fun and it's productive, you know. And I think that is where I'm able to add a ton of value to their lives. Is just we have a good amount of, we spend a lot of one-on-one time. There's a lot of you know, they become extended family members at a certain point, you know, like they know more about me, and I know more about them than probably some of their close friends and family members know, you know, because of the fact that we confide in each other like that. We really have that strong bond, like where like I got their back and they, you know, they have mine too, you know, like at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be able to provide for my family if they weren't paying for personal training. And, you know, it's a mutual appreciation for one another in that. But even if it wasn't for the money, I would still appreciate it. But, you know, yeah, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's the importance of diet when it comes to like personal training? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So, what were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah. That was my question. What's the importance of diet when it comes to personal training?
Yeah, so diet is very important. It's one of those things where like we don't want to prescribe a diet for people if they already have like some underlying conditions, right? Like, you know, but for general health purposes, we can make our recommendations. For me personally, I just try to keep it very simple. If it doesn't, if it's not natural, then you probably shouldn't be eating it, right? So anytime you go eat something that's processed or comes in a plastic bag or any of those things, just know that it's gonna be a little harder to digest usually, and it's gonna be not as nutritious a lot of the time too, right? So yeah, but basically it's just nutrient density. That's what I go about is like you can eat a ton of broccoli, for instance, and it'll only be 100 calories. But you go eat like 5 French fries and there'll be more calories than 100, like a big old thing of broccoli. You know what I mean? Like which one will give you more nutrition? Like which one gives you fiber and all that stuff and vitamins and antioxidants and things of that sort. There's so many good stuff that comes from fruits and vegetables that you're not gonna get from French fries, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, people don't need me to tell them this. But I repeat it just to get it through to them, because people will make excuses in their head of like, oh, it's okay to eat this, right? I'm like, really?
It's a cheat day. Hey, I'm gonna eat right for 5 days, like, you know what I'm saying? But I eat right for 3 days, so I can have this burger.
I should be fine.
Yeah, they'll come with everything. Oh man. I'm like, what do you think is better, the chicken salad or that triple heart attack cheeseburger? You know what I mean? Like, which one's better for you? Like,
but man, I've been fasting for 16 hours, bro.
Man, people will be like, man, but the burger has good fats, and fat's good for you. It has a lot of protein. But I'm like, come on now, like, let's keep this really simple. Let's keep this really, really simple. Like, so diet. I have a very simple approach. You know, if it doesn't swim, run, or fly, it's not green. I took that from this one. I forget where I get my stuff now because I've heard so many different trainers. I just choose what I like. But yeah, if it doesn't run, swim, or fly, it's not green, or it grows from a tree, you shouldn't be eating it. Like that.
Fresh fries, potatoes, right? Right there.
Yeah, but
they made it there somehow.
I get just saying, but it's not. It's fried. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get it like
I feel you.
You don't get it like that. So
hey, being a personal trainer, like, does it affect the way you eat? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're a master trainer. Does it affect you? Like, you know, you're eating everything right, or like, you know what I'm saying?
You know, yeah. So I didn't mean to cut you off again. No, I'm human like everybody else. You know, so I'm human just like everybody else. So anytime that I try to give my advice or my coaching to somebody else, I'm usually just a couple steps ahead of them, or I'm just a little bit further down the road than them, so they can learn from my mistakes. They don't have to make the same mistakes that I make. You know, like all the mental games, there are challenges, right? And I've dealt with a lot of these challenges, and I've been able to come up with good solutions for those challenges. That's really the difference between me and other people. But really, I'm a normal human being. You know, I gained weight when my wife was pregnant. You know, during quarantine, I haven't been the best. You know, like I started off like cooking all my meals and all that stuff, and the first maybe 6 to 8 weeks, I was on point, and then I was like, man, how long is this quarantine gonna take? I don't want to cook and do dishes anymore. I wanted to go to McDonald's and let me just go to this drive-thru real quick. You know, like I'm human just like everybody else. The difference is I know when I'm doing it that it's not good for me, and I can feel the difference. Like I'm very conscious of the differences in the quality of food that I eat. I think a lot of people, they ate crap for their whole life that they don't know what good nutrition feels like. I know when it feels, when I'm feeling good. Like I know when I've been on point. And, you know, when I've had a couple too many days of like bad nutrition, I really feel it. Like it really bothers me. I'm like, man, I really got to get my act together. This is not good, you know? And that's really the difference between me and somebody else that probably needs a little bit more coaching, is that I'm conscious, you know, I'm a conscious eater versus the person that is, you know, they don't even know that their diet is that bad. It's just all, you know, simple carbs and fats and just all these fried sugary things. They don't even realize that they're eating all these fried sugary things. Me, I can tell you everything bad I ate over the last month, probably. You know, I could probably go break it down. I don't go crazy over it. I don't obsess over it, because that's another thing that I think is not healthy, is when people obsess over each morsel of food that they put on their plate. I think that, you know, you got to have a little bit of balance. But yeah, that's my take on nutrition.
There you go. Yeah, so I see that you got into a new hobby, man. Like I see you fishing and all that, man. You see that, man? They going fish.
I see that, man. It's making me jealous, man.
So, tell us about that, man. Like how you get into it?
So I used to fish with my pops all the time until I was about like 21. It was probably the last time I fished. So I used to fish all the time, but I didn't fish for bass. So I got into bass fishing, and it's because my dad was not really a good bass fisherman. He was more like other things like trout, catfish, big fish, salt water, all those things. But bass is different because they're like a predatory fish, and and it's just a different type of thing. Like I would always watch it on TV, and I'd play the video games and all that stuff, because I never got to do that type of fishing. Like we never really went for that type of fish. It's a completely different style. And yeah, so that's what I started to get into, is during quarantine. I was like, man, I started playing some games on my phone or whatever, just like stupid stuff like that. And I started looking back at my friends were posting pictures. I was like, man, I really want to start to fish. Like I really want to learn how to bass fish. So I took all the gear from my dad's spot and started reading up like crazy. It just gave me something to get into, man. It's been fun. It's been fun learning, like to learn something new, you know, just always challenging yourself. But it's fun. It's nice to get out on the lake, man. You guys got to get out there with me one time. It's really fun.
Yeah, fishing. I never fished my whole life. I don't know about you, man.
I trying to go back. I've never went bass fishing before, man. I'm like your pops, like the big fish, you know, just cast and just wait and just okay, let's go, kind of thing. But I've tried to go bass fishing, but man, I don't know. I never had any luck. So you might have to give me some tips these days.
It's tough, man. But there's a lot of guys that are doing it. You know, I'm a Clipper fan, and Paul George is a big bass fisherman. He has his own like celebrity pro am tournament in like Lake Castaic and all that stuff. And that's what they're doing right now in the NBA bubble. You guys seen the videos on the NBA bubble where like they're at Walt Disney World? A lot of the guys are fishing over there.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a good way to just relax between workouts. You're going so crazy, and we're so old. We're so plugged in to like social media and our technology and all this stuff that we're constantly getting bombarded by like sensory information. You know, there's like way too much information, and it's a good thing, but that we have information available to us all the time. But I think that we never give ourselves downtime, and that's the one thing about fishing, is it gives me some downtime to really settle my thoughts and really relax, and it helps me think clearly.
I think that's gonna be a segment. We're gonna vlog out there. We're gonna head to SoCal. He's gonna take us out fishing. The Hoop Lifestyle podcast.
Hey man, I feel like I got a beer and a thing, whatever, man. I never fished my whole life, so.
It's just like it's basketball just way more spread out. So it's just like, you know, when you finally get that hezzy, and you got to pull the trigger on somebody, it's like that. You feel it like, ooh, got him, right? So when you're fishing and the fish bite, you're like, ooh, got him, then you score. Like,
hey, I do watch a lot of River Monsters, so you know I be seeing Jeremy Wade, you know what I'm saying, like fish on, like oh yeah. So, I'm gonna try to break it down, you know, watch that shit, and break it down so I can see what's going on.
You ready? Yeah, we ready.
Yeah. I'd be tight. I don't know if they're ready for that though. River Monsters Ed. Fish on.
Fish on. Yeah, man. Doing Euro with a fish.
Euro with the fishing pole.
Hey, with your reflexes, you kill him though. You kill him, man. I'm telling you.
Oh,
you
man.
reflexes of a cat, bro.
That sounds fun, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've never been fishing and all that. Like, none of that. Like, never tried it. But yeah, I see people fishing. Like, you know, it's fun. Like, you know, once you get that, like, fishing the hook or whatever, you get that feeling like, oh, shit, I got one. Like, there you go. There's the battle right there. Yep. So, it's cool, man. I want to learn. So, next time we go down Southern California, man, we're going to holler.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'll bring my rods up. We could do it in Northern California, too. Like,
there we go. Hey, let's go.
Up there, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We doing it. Hey, hit us up. I'm down.
I'm down too. Shit.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, fishing, man. Yep. So, like, you know, I know you train basketball players and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah.
So what's more like? Tell me about strength training and conditioning training. What, like, you know, like, what's the difference between those two? Like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, so anytime you do any exercise, you got to think what is the outcome you want to happen, right? So if you're going to do weightlifting, right, you're not going to be like, man, this is gonna help me with my lungs for the fourth quarter. Like, it's not gonna work that way, right? So you always got to think about what the desired outcome is. So the way you can program a strength training program and conditioning, all that stuff, because like a lot of basketball players, they don't do enough strength training. A lot of time they don't do enough strength training. So what you can do is during the off season, depending on when your busiest time is, because basketball is a year-round sport now, especially for a lot of the kids, but even adult rec leagues, and we're playing. They'll take a 1 week break and then it's right back on. Even for NBA players or pros or college, they get off of they finish their season. There's not really an off season anymore, right? They go right into pickup and all that. There really is never really an off season. So you just got to think of when your least demanding time is to start working on a strength phase. So you can do, you know, the way I like to do it is we'll build up some balance stuff, because you'll always have some tendencies, right? So I'm gonna go off topic a little bit, but you'll always have tendencies. Like somebody would have a stronger right-left crossover, or somebody have better burst off their left leg going right. But when that happens, you'll always do those same moves more than other moves. So you're gonna develop muscle imbalances, right? So after a season, like a really tough season, a high school season, college season, whatever it is, a lot of time I like to do my assessments and get my athletes to be more balanced and work on their stability again, right? So we really work on slow tempo training. So like we barely lift heavy weights that first, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how much time I have with them. The first 2 to 4 weeks, we'll just do a lot of slow tempo stuff, a lot of stability work and balance. And then from there, then you can start getting to, they want to put on a little bit of size, but we go in blocks, and then we'll go strength training, and then we'll do power. And then, as the season gets closer, as you're getting ready for the season, then that's when you go and start doing a lot more conditioning stuff. So you can slowly start to add your conditioning, but basketball players, they get a lot of conditioning anyways. You play basketball, you can play basketball 3 hours and get a lot of conditioning.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll slowly throw that back in the equation, start getting on the track or what it may be. But I think that those 2 to 4 week blocks of balance, then strength endurance, then some strength, and then some power. I think that those things are important checkpoints that we must hit in an off season, so that way that they feel that they're able to progress during the off season. Yeah. So that's the difference, is basically what you're trying to achieve with each exercise. You're not going to do wind sprints and, you know, be able to help out with your post moves. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be able to bully ball somebody because you did 2 extra wind sprints. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be those extra grinding days of squats and, you know, all those things that will be able to develop that strength, that solid foundation for that, you know?
Yeah. Got anything, man?
No, man, I'm freaking taking it all in.
Yeah, me too. I'm learning so much shit right now. So, like, all right, so we're talking about, like, you know, strength training and all that. What's the age for kids to, like, you know, what age do you suggest for them to start strength training? Like, get ready for that, like, physical.
I think so I say 12 to be in the gym. About 12 is a good age, maturity level wise. You know, it's just that's generally a really, really good age for, you know, before that they're so, their emotions and all that, mentally and all that stuff is just too much. Like they're still kids at that point. You know what I mean? Up until they're almost, you know, 11 years old, they're still elementary school a lot of time. So I say 12 is a good age, but I will say that I think it's very, very important that a lot of kids play a lot of different sports. So even if you plan on making your kid a basketball player or whatever it may be, put them in baseball, put them in, I don't know about football because of the head injury stuff, but even football, like a lot, LeBron James, Allen Iverson, Chris Paul, all these guys played football. You know what I mean? These were, look at Michael Jordan, he played baseball. So these are super, super athletic people. It's because of the fact that you're teaching your body to be very well-rounded, right? You're not sticking to the one type of pattern that, like, basketball has very specific moves, but how much rotation do we get, like, trying to swing through something, right? We don't get, like, you know, in football, right? There's a lot of different types of bursts of speed and things of that sort that's a little bit different than basketball, right? So, you know, gymnastics is good for kids, you know, martial arts, any of those things, anything moving your body, playing on the playground, any of that stuff. Like, go grab their iPads and their phones away from them for a little bit, tell them to go play outside. And they say, what do you want me to do? I'm like, just figure it out. Just go play, be creative. I think that stuff is very important for kids until they're 12 to be able to develop that some sense of body awareness. It's called proprioception, right? That's the fancy word for it, but it's really body awareness. And a lot of kids that I started training at 12, when they're in middle school and they might be overweight or they're playing sports, man, they have really bad bodies now because a lot of time, like especially with the increase in technology, kids aren't playing as much anymore. Yeah. Or if they play a sport, because of how much money is in like AAU or in professional sports now, these parents are just dumping a ton of money into their kids to do one sport, and they have all these injuries at like 14, man, like big time injuries at like 13, 14, because they're doing the same repetitive movements over and over, and they've only played one sport their whole life. And that's when it becomes a real issue, man. It's because it's called overuse or pattern overload, right? So it's just a overuse injuries at like 13, 14, man. Like, and it's because they don't do anything else outside of sit on the phone or sit at school and then play their one sport, right? And that's a big issue. So in a long-winded way, just as soon as they can start playing anything, put them in anything, swimming, anything. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was good information. That's good information, real good information, man. Like I'm
we gotta show that to our kids now.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Don't listen to that.
Yeah. So, man, that's dope, man. I'm all like locked in, like
I know.
Yeah. Man.
If I speak too much too, I'm trying to like not go off on a tangent, but you know, these are like I could talk about different these things, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, right? You know, because but yeah, I could talk about this stuff for days, man. I really as you could probably tell already, I'm very passionate about this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, this is why we got this platform, man. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about whatever you love, whatever you like to do, man. That's what we here, bro. You feel me? So,
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So how important is it to have a personal trainer when you're a hooper? Like, you know, I'm not talking about like hoop training, but I'm talking about like personal trainer as a hooper. How is it important?
I mean, yeah, if you can afford it, for sure. You know, it's not the most inexpensive thing. So if you're fortunate enough to have a personal trainer, then by all means, especially if you get, and that's the thing, you have to kind of you can't just hire anybody either, because some of them will mess you up too. You know what I mean? Like some of them will mess you up. It's just like, you don't just go pick any tattoo artist, or you don't just go pick any barber, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make sure that they understand what you want and they have quality work. Like, what's their portfolio, right? But that being said, if you can be fortunate enough to have a trainer, then yes, it's very, very important, because, you know, a hooper is they're supposed to learn how to hoop, right? They're not learning how to develop a proper strength training program that goes 365 days of the year after year after year after year, where they're constantly seeing progress, and with ways that you can monitor it with measurables, right? So we talk about measurables like being, okay, hey, last year, the same time this year, last July, you only had a 27.5-inch vert. This year you have a 34.5-inch vert. You gained 7 inches on your vert, but not only that, your 1 foot vert, blah, 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 right? So you can come up with, like, you can show them where their progress is at. A lot of people, like, how many hoopers are really, like, taking those measurables down, like, and having their how fast they do a 17, or how fast they, and have it where it's actually properly monitored, you know what I'm saying? Like, where, like, all the variables are all the same, right? Because otherwise, you know, they're not trained to do that, right? So it's just very important to do that. That being said, if you're not fortunate enough to have that, there's a lot of stuff out there that there's a lot of, like, baseline programs that I think is important. Like, have some type of program, though. Like, just, again, you should still look at the program and see if you think it makes sense. And but anything, man, like, there's group training programs where you can work out with a few people. It makes it a little less expensive. But yeah, like, just have a plan is really what it is, right? Like, failure to plan is planning to fail, right? So if you don't have a plan, man, you're planning to fail, man. Like, it's just not. Nobody's just gonna hand you $1 million contract or a college scholarship. You know how many college athletes have I trained? Like, there's been a lot. Like, these kids have gotten free money to go to go to school, while other people are having to pay tens of thousands of dollars for that same education. You know what I mean? And they get free stuff. They get to go to the athlete dining hall. You think that's free? Like, no, you have to have a plan. Those kids didn't just wake up and say, you know what, I'm a Division I college athlete now. Like, that didn't happen on accident. You know what I mean? Like, there was a plan. Like, I can tell you each one too. It correlates with each of the kids' upbringing and all that stuff, man. I mean, I could go on this stuff for days, but, you know, you just have to have a plan. Seriously, just have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Vic, you think, like, nowadays with, like, everything going on, where most kids are, like, stuck at home, do you think it's going to be harder for kids to kind of get to that point to where they have that mentality? And is it harder for them to get, like, the training that they need to be able to succeed? Whereas, you know, before they could go out and get, like, training anywhere. They could do, like, the clinics, you know, they could go to the gyms. Now it's like you're really on your own. Like, you can't, like, we got to sneak out to, like, a friggin' indoor basketball gym, you know, like, pray that they don't close down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nowadays it's harder because, I mean, yeah, the kids can go to the park. A lot of these kids don't even prefer going to the parks anymore. You know, having a trainer is great, but some of these trainers are afraid, you know, of the liability issues with the whole situation right now. Do you think it's harder for them?
Oh, it's definitely a challenge for everybody in the whole country for everything, pretty much, right? Yeah. But that being said, I feel like the cream always rises to the top. You know, the cream always rises to the top. So if there's a will, there's a way, right? So if you're really about this and you're really trying to make it, you really want to play Division I or professionally or any of those things, or just be good. Let's just be better than the person next to you. Man, you will find a way to do it. So they have video sessions. There's some bad stuff on YouTube, but there's a million good things on YouTube too, right? So you can even just look at that. It does take time, but man, just find a plan. You have to sort something out. So it is difficult. It's very difficult. I sympathize and for a lot of these kids right now, because this is something we've never been through, and especially in this technology age. So, you know, it's very easy to get stuck into stuff that's not productive at all, you know, just mindless, idle time. But the good kids though, man, they'll trust me. I know one kid right now, he was shout out to my boy Ian if he watches this. He was all Marine League for here in LA City section, his first team, and man, he's getting some college looks at him, and this guy's doing 360 windmills and stuff. You know what? This morning he actually asked me to work out with him and his this one kid Ant at 7 a.m. at the beach. You know, we were supposed to work out today at 7. They worked out together still, but this kid is that dedicated that during this whole thing, like, he's been working out almost every day. Like, he has a plan. He bought those bands I gave. I sold Ben, or gave Ben. You know, but yeah, man, they're putting in work, and that's the reason why he's gonna be successful. And there's a reason why he's a first team, is because he's putting more work than the other kid, man. Like, he's just putting. So, you know, no matter what the situation is, the best ones will always find a way to do it. And that's really the difference between them and the kids that don't make it. The one with all the potential in the world is that they didn't find a way to get it done. The ones that get that step further, they just got it done, man. They didn't make excuses, and they got it done, is really what it is, you know.
It's almost like right now is an opportunity for some of these kids to excel. As for some, I felt like when this first happened, I felt like it was a way for – if you think about it, it's almost an opportunity for some of those kids that didn't feel like they had that shot to overtake some of these kids that, you know, have that opportunity and kind of just sit on it during times like this. So, yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point. They'll find a way. There's a lot of programs out there. So,
yeah, that's the difference with, like, people right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with kids, you have to put in that work, man. It doesn't matter how skilled you are. If you don't put in that work, man, that person right next to you that, like, you know, that doesn't have your skills, but he puts in that work, will excel in front of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can have all the ball handling, like, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't put in that work and you just chill, you don't do anything else, that person who didn't have ball handling last summer, he's going to come back better than you because you putting in that work.
Exactly.
Like, so that's what kids don't get right now, man. Like, you know, you have to, it's not gonna be given to you. Like, you can't, like, it's not like, okay, I have handles right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find a way how to improve that. Like, you know, like, every day, even though, like, you can go to YouTube, you can do it by yourself, you can do whatever it is that you have to do to make yourself better. Like, you know, the only way you can get better than the person right next to you if you work harder than him. Like, just think about it. Like, what who said that? One of the NBA players said, I think it was PG. I think it wasn't PG, but one of the NBA players said that, like, I'm in LA right now, and then the dude from New York been working out since, like, you know what I'm saying? So I gotta beat him. So right now it's 10 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock in New York. So I have to get up extra early to beat him working out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta beat that person next to you to excel to whatever you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have that dedication. You gotta put in that work, because like we say, if you don't have that plan or you don't put in that work, man, you ain't going nowhere. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
big fact.
That's man, you're preaching right now. That's it, man. Like, I can't tell you enough. Like, I think that's I can make the correlation between fitness, the people that are in shape and not in shape and all that stuff. It's just like, who gets it done, who actually puts in the work. and who cares just that extra little bit more? You know what I mean? Like, people, it's easy to see the person with a six-pack or that can jump out of the gym and run fast and be like, oh, that person's lucky, that person's gifted. It's like, you don't know anything about me. You don't know the sacrifices I made. Like you think I want to do that extra 2 workouts? Like, you know how I was complaining before doing it. Like, I was complaining during the workout, but afterwards, like, you know, afterwards you see that I'm, you know, jumping over somebody, and now you're like, okay, well, he's lucky, or he just it's because he's a trainer. Like, no, man, I had to do the work. Like, I didn't just wake up and be like, hey, I'm a trainer. That means I get plus 10 in my vert. Like, it doesn't work out that way, man. Like, it doesn't work that way. So a lot of kids, man, they just need to put in that work to and, you know, like the NBA players, for instance. Like, I don't feel bad about some of those NBA players when they were talking about, yo, some of these people haven't touched a basketball and blah, blah. I was like, man, you're getting paid to play this game, and you don't even own a basketball. You couldn't dribble. You couldn't do ball handling drills. Like, you had all these trainers and you didn't know any workouts to do, like anything. You couldn't do anything. All right, let's say you didn't have a hoop. You know, you try to tell me you just didn't have any drills. You couldn't eat right. You couldn't sleep still. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's still things that everybody could have done. Like, Pat Bev was talking about, like, how basketball is a year-round sport. It's true, man. Like if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's why I tell clients too, when they're trying to get in shape, it's like, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So which one are you doing? Are you getting better or worse?
Yeah. Like, you can't just, like, stick to where you're at right now. If you're right here, like, you know, if you're not going up, man, but even though you think that you still right here, you're going down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody else is going up right next to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, you know, oh, okay, my shooting is right here, my handles are right here. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, everybody else that below you is putting in that work, and you're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like you're gonna go down, but, like, that's the reality of it. You are gonna go down because the fact that you're not putting in that work, because the fact that that person next to you is more hungry than what you are right now. Like, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
like, how hungry are you, right? Like, how hungry are you? And that, you know, is really what it boils down to a lot of the time with anything. That's not just in sports or anything. Like, that's why I think sports can teach a lot. Sports and fitness can teach a lot when it comes to life, man. Like, when it comes to getting a job interview, all those things. Like, are you willing to outwork the person that's gonna interview for that same position? You know what I mean? Are you looking at it like a win or a loss? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much game film are you gonna do? How much are you willing to invest time before the event? You know, the event is the interview or the game. So that's why I think, like, people that played sports growing up, they have an advantage just because they're used to the competition, right? They don't view competition as a bad thing. Some people, man, it's crazy. A lot of people are scared of competition. They're scared of competition. And I see it all the time, man. Like, it's the weirdest thing when you see it, but man, it's like they're allergic to it. It's like they have an allergic reaction to any bit of challenge. You know, the thing about playing a sport, man, at the end of the day, it's either you were good enough or you weren't good enough, right? Yeah, sometimes the referees might say something or blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, 99.9% of the time, you know, like, there's the result is always fair. You know, the result is fair. Either you were good enough or you weren't good enough. Did you get it done? Right? What could I have done better to win? Why did I lose? Right? Why did that happen? So I think that athletes have a big leg up in terms of that in life. You know, so I even if kids don't get to college, man, just put your kids in something competitive, man. Like, you know, I think that's for anybody listening out there, just put them in anything competitive, because, you know, it teaches them so much about life. And
I agree with that 100%. No, I agree with that 100%, man. I think like competitiveness is like when you have that, I think all of us have that here, and most people in sports in general have it. I mean, I had one guy come up to me after one of our games, right, and he was just like, because I was getting amped up, you know, and it was during the game, And he came over, he's like, hey, man, just calm down, bro. It's just a game. And I kind of looked up at him. I'm like, what? I'm like, you?
Yeah.
I'm here to win, bro. I mean, I'm trying to compete. You know, I'm like, calm down. I'm amped up. I'm happy. I was scoring. He's like, hey, just chill. And bro, this is when I'm like feeling good. Like I'm feeling hot. So I know what you got. You know, I feel like we all feel the same way. It's that competitive heart. Like you see it as a high almost, right? When you're competing against somebody, when you see that next person that you want to be better than, or you see that's better than you and you want to do it, needs to be done so you're better than them. We get that high off of it. Like I get it right now just thinking about it. You know? So,
Yeah.
And I think it's an important thing for people to develop. Like you said, developing your kids, man, put them in something competitive. Even like my kids love gaming, right? So my kid plays Fortnite, so I'll be in there all in his ear, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you gonna let him shoot you? You're gonna let him take you like that? But you
you know what? I'm gonna start doing that shit too.
He'd be like, it's 1 versus 4, Dad. Hey, you know what? You ain't dead, right?
Yeah, you gotta figure something out, man. Kill all of them. Yeah.
You gotta get him empathy. Yeah, you're right. So I mean, I think just continue to build that competitiveness is huge in the youth, because, like you said, I mean, if they become passive and they just kind of let anything slide by, you know, they're not gonna be able to see themselves in a light where they are gonna want to be better. So that's a good point, man. That's a huge point. Huge point.
I mean, all of us, all three of us were here. We have that killer instinct, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when we get on the court, man, who the best guy? I'm gonna kill him. Like, funny story, right now. I remember I said I have a story, right? Like, that's why I'm trying to get to that. Like, so, all right. So AOL, right? So first time, like, you know how NJ posts all this stuff, like, you know, best, what you call it, scoring leaders and all of that. And I saw him. I saw B. I was like, who's that guy? Okay, he averaged 24, man. I gotta kill him. I gotta average 26. You know what I'm saying? So for every time I play tempo, man, I'm over there like, you know, I'm gonna kill you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm gonna score 30. Fuck that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think the first game we played, I was so hyped that, like, I wanted to, like, just go at his throat. Like, you know, I'm gonna score. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hit this three. We lost. You know what I'm saying? I was so focused that, like, you know, we lost that game. But I was like, man, I gotta come back. So every time I play him, I play his team, I'm like, it's on, man. I see blood.
Yeah. And so we both had the same first impression on B, huh? We were just looking at him.
Yeah. That first time I seen that picture, NJ posted, like, 24 again. I was like, ooh, 24 again. I can do 26, man. I'm a come for you. He was like the highest, like, you know, they do scoring leader where they were just scoring leader. I was like, man, I'm a come for that guy, man. I'm like, motherfucker, let me give me the ball. Like, yeah, like what I said, first time I played him, man, I was so hyped that I wanted to just kill him, like, you know, go at his throat that we lost the game.
Yeah, you see a smile on my face because I was thinking the same thing. So like it just but that's why we're all here together, because we developed that. It's not personal, you know what I'm saying? Like, we developed that respect for each other because we like game recognized game. You know what I mean? Like, we know that we care about something so much that, like, you know, like that's why you're my boy. That's why B is my boy. Like, we cut from a similar cloth, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't be having a 1 hour conversation with no punk ass, you know what I mean? Like, somebody that's a little bitch. Like, I got better things to do with my time, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Like, but you know, that we developed that mutual respect from just going at each other, man. Like, you weren't trying to give up, I wasn't trying to give up. Just everything that you saw, trust me, man. Like, bro, I got pictures of the screenshots of Instagram when NJ would post some. I got it on my phone right now, somewhere over there, man. I would look at that and I would send in a group chat to my team. I'm like, hey, I'm about to kill these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, man.
I mean, you can cuss, man. We don't mind. You can cuss.
Yeah. Just know that I was thinking the same thing, man. Like, that's probably why our scoring numbers got so ridiculous at certain points, right? Like, I think at one point I averaged like 30. You averaged, I don't know how much you averaged, a crazy amount too, man. I think maybe you averaged more than that. But man, our numbers got stupid just because we were just man, I was at the gym, like, between clients. Sometimes, like, if a client canceled, I wouldn't work hard to go refill that appointment time, so I have more time to go work out or shoot. Man, I was so on, man.
Hey, I've had B in my group chats. He ran with us a couple seasons. And, yeah, when he's ready for a game, man, he's typing like, "Oh man, we about to kill this." I don't want to hear none of that.
Yeah, I was just saying, wait, man, this shit was funny. Yeah, this shit was funny. It's funny because I was just looking back at like AO videos and stuff like that. I remember the first time I played Ben, I played you. I think you was with Slash. You were running with Art.
Yeah.
It was a playoff game, man. I think we won, but we won by like 3 points or whatever, 4 points.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I played. I think that was the same game where I was like, man, I dropped 30 in y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, I don't know what y'all talk. I think I got I took it to the rack, and then one of your teammates blocked it. And then so I think it was Arvin. Arvin blocked it, and he was like, I looked at him, I was like, what the fuck? I just dropped 30 right now, man. What are you talking about? Look at the box score. And I dropped 30 in your ass, and you shot it for 1 block. Come on, dog. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I remember. I was just watching that. I was like, man, that shit was good. Yeah.
Hey, what's funny? We all champs, though. We all Hoop Crate champs. You know what I'm saying? We got Hoop Crate champs.
Yeah. Hey, we still gotta play together, B. Man, we never played together. We haven't played with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We never played together. Yeah.
The most is a few pickup games. Like we played in a few pickup games together, and I feel like we never really got. I mean, we haven't had enough time on the court together. So like, I feel like we're still trying to figure each other out, even though just a pickup game. But I think if we can figure out, we can make it work, man. When we figure it out, man, it would be a deadly. It'd be a deadly combo, man. Me, you, and Ben, like just. Yeah. Oh man,
I'm passing y'all the ball.
You better shoot it, fool. I'm gonna pass it right back, man.
You better shoot it, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a big Clipper fan. You know what I'm saying? You're a Clipper Nation, Mr. Clipper Nation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Top 5 Clippers of all time.
All right. So you got to put CP in there. You already got to throw Kawhi in there, even though he's only been with the team for a short period of time. He instantly there. I want to say Bob McAdoo.
Okay, going old school. Yeah, Bob McAdoo, dope, man.
Blake Griffin has to be there. He changed the franchise. That's 4. Yeah. And I'm stuck between Elton Brand and probably that's a tough one. Let's see. Yeah, probably Elton Brand, I would say, is probably up there, man. You know, Mr. 20 and 10, and he was a great defensive player.
Was nice, man. He was nice.
He was nice, man. He was nice. He was underrated. Yeah. He was like he was almost like a poor man's Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? But I mean, man, he was good, man. Defensively, he had super long arms too. Like he was only 6'8", but I forgot what his wingspan was, like 7'2" or something like that. So he had a lot of block shots, and he was a beast. I just don't like how he left us. You know, we got Baron Davis that one year, and then he was like, all right, and he wanted Baron Davis to sign this. So Baron Davis signed his contract, and he said, never mind. And he ghosted him, and then went to Philadelphia, which was kind of a messed up move. Philly. But so that was
the problem, man.
Yeah, he was a big time problem. But those aren't my favorite Clippers. My favorite is Q Miles and D Miles and Quentin Richardson and guys like Patrick Beverly and all those guys. Yeah, man. Like those are like, all of those guys are. They might not be the greatest of all time, but man, those guys all stand out to me. They all have like their own special ways that they impact the game, and it makes it fun to watch them compete. Like guys like Patrick Beverly, man, he's somebody that you don't like if he's not on your team a lot of time, but man, when he's on your team, man, you just love to watch him play.
He a dog, man. He a dog, bro. Pat Beverly, he don't back down for nobody, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's contagious.
No matter who you are.
And that's contagious. You know what I mean? That's an intangible right there. So I like those guys. They may maybe not crack the top 5 because they don't score enough and have all NBA stuff. But I think those 3 right there, Q Rich, D Miles, and Pat Bev. I think those guys are three of my favorite Clippers of all time right there. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say Clipper Nation without saying Q Rich and D Miles, man. That's my opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you say Clippers, the first thing that comes to your head is knuckleheads. Q Miles.
Yes.
Q Rich and D Miles, man.
I used to do that. That's when I switched. I actually used to be a Laker fan growing up until about 2000. After they won their first championship, I was already kind of switching because all these bandwagon fans came out of nowhere. And like, as good as Shaq and Kobe was, they didn't look like they were having fun. You know, they didn't look like they were having fun. And you look at the Clippers back then, they had Lamar Odom and Corey Maggette, Elton Brand, Q Rich, D Miles, Keon Dooling. They were a young athletic group, right? Like super athletic. And they all wore the headbands, tattoos, all that stuff. Remind me of me and my homies, like, playing basketball over here in the projects and all that stuff. Like, we'd be playing on the double rims and chain nets. Like, that was a double rim and chain net team right there, man. Like that's, man. And it reminded me that I just fell in love with that team. And that's when I started, you know, I would do that after every time I scored in like my little park leagues and all that stuff, YMCA leagues, all that stuff, man. Like every time I score, boom, 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 you know, like I would do that. But yeah, man, I love that team. They didn't do a whole lot, but that was one of my favorite teams of all time for sure.
Yeah, they didn't win a lot, but like, you know what I'm saying, they were fun to watch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
super fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. They were flashy. It was like and one mixtape on an NBA court. You know, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got anything, Ben?
Nah, man. I don't know nothing about the Clippers. Nah, hey, especially this season. Hey, I can't wait to see what happens with this. When it all, you know, how it all winds up at the end of this one, man. It's gonna be fun to watch.
We're gonna be ready, man. As if I'm playing on the team, right? Like,
oh, you can say we, man. You can say man. You know what I'm saying?
They'll be ready, man. I'm super excited, man. I was just actually watching a video on it and how like they didn't even put their best lineup on the court a lot of time. Like a lot of the top teams, like the Lakers and the Bucks and all of them, they've been putting their best lineups on the Denver Nuggets, the Rockets, all these like top teams. Their best lineups played a ton of minutes together. The Clippers, outside of like obviously there's injuries too, but I really feel like Doc Rivers was kind of playing possum in that like, you know, they put like on Jason Tatum and what's the other guy, Jaylen Brown from the Celtics. Like you look at the double overtime game that they had this year, that they would put like Landry Shamet on Jason Tatum, and he was getting cooked. And Landry Shamet's not a terrible defensive player; he's just the worst one on our team. Because we have so many defensive players on our team, and Doc Rivers just let him get cooked. And you know, he didn't put Paul George on him, didn't put Pat Bev on him, didn't put Kawhi. Like all these options that you could have put on a Marcus Morris, and they left Landry Shamet on him, you know. So like those types of things, I think in the playoffs when they're having their best lineups out there, they're gonna be super dangerous.
Yeah. It's gonna be real good for you guys.
Yeah, that's my pick to win. So like I don't know.
Yeah,
first episode of my of the Hoop Lifestyle podcast, man. That's my pick, man, because like you can't like Clippers, like their roster is like all around, it's like built like the right way. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have your starters, you have your bench goes so deep. Like you have your, like, you know, Shamet and all that, like Morris, like you have all that stuff, like the difference makers. That's why I think Lakers, I think they'll get upset. That's what I think. I think Portland can beat them.
Oh wow. Yeah. It's possible, man. Like it's totally possible. Like all their role players kind of overachieved. I mean, shout out to Frank Vogel. You know, big ups to him for coaching up that team. But like, you know, not to take anything away from those players because they still have to perform. But if you really think about it, a lot of their players really overachieved. For you know, they're having like, you know, and that's maybe the LeBron James effect. But at the same time, I wouldn't trust those players in the crunch time of a playoff series. And you know, if you look at Anthony Davis, he doesn't really have any experience either. You know, they talk about like Paul George having like some meltdowns in the playoffs, but he's also had some good playoff series too, like against LeBron when PG was in Indiana. Anthony Davis never really had a great series. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have any big moments. You know what I'm saying? Like how is he going to act in a crucial game 6 on an elimination game or any of those things? Like how's he going to act? Is he going to be able to carry the team? You know what I'm saying? Like is he going to be able to hit those big shots? That's talking about Anthony Davis. Talking about the rest of the roster, I just wouldn't trust the Lakers as much. They're a good team, man. They're definitely gonna be an issue, but I wouldn't trust that roster, man. I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
I mean, you got J.R. Smith and Deion Waiters. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to play some important minutes. Not that Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith wasn't good, but like this isn't this isn't 2018. You know what I mean? This is 2017 right now. You know, like this is 2020. I just wouldn't. Yeah, I don't trust that team.
Clippers got a chip on their shoulder too, so that's always a good thing to have. Beverly got a lifelong chip on his shoulder, which is what he runs off of, which is a good thing.
Yeah, hell yeah. Every day, every game, man, he got that chip on his shoulder. Like he's trying to prove everybody wrong. Like you know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy though? That whole team is made like that. Look at Montrezl Harrell and even Kawhi. He's quiet, man, but you don't think that dude had a chip on his shoulder? Like he's. People have been talking smack about him for the longest, right?
He's a fun guy. He's a fun guy.
Hey, funny thing, I got the New Balance Boardman Gets Paid shirt. My cousin got me that shirt. But yeah, he's apparently he's really funny, man. I know some people that know a little bit about the team, and yeah, apparently he's pretty hilarious on the group chats and stuff. Yeah. So, like you would never guess, like, because he's so monotone and all that stuff. But it goes to show that he's probably like a really private person.
That's all it is.
Yeah, you don't have to do all the crazy like celebrating to be a killer. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do all that to be a killer. Your killer is by your actions, really. Like, and I think that dude's about it.
Facts.
100%.
Facts. Yep. I see that you had the little band thing going on, right? That's your side business, like that one.
Oh yeah.
So let everybody know like how to get it from you and stuff like that, man.
So we're gonna start. We're gonna be launching our website very soon here. We're just trying to situate our online payment stuff and some legal stuff to make sure that tax stuff is all taken care of, so the feds don't come knocking and asking me for more money. So we're going to try and figure out the tax stuff and the way we're going to build our business. But right now, if they can just go find me on Instagram at Training Philosophy and shoot me a message on there. And then, we can PayPal and send me their address and I'll send them to them that way. It's a little bit not the way I want to do it. It's not the way I want to officially do it, but if somebody wants those bands, they're really good quality, latex, natural latex. They don't grab your hair like some of the other bands do. And I find that the diameters I picked were really good to basically take care of most of your movements that you need to do for any of the mini band exercises. So yeah, and they look better than a lot of those bands. I feel like some of those other bands, they look kind of corny and tacky. I like the way mine's look. So yeah,
I gotta holler at you, man, because I've been doing my wife been doing the workout and she'll be using those bands. I need some for myself, so you know what I'm saying.
Oh man, dude, that stuff is really key, man. Like it's so simple, but especially for longevity, we're not getting any younger. You know what I mean? And especially you, man, you rely a lot on your burst and all that stuff, man. You gotta stay healthy, keep everything activated, all that stuff, So I think
ask Ben how many times I fell yesterday.
Bro,
oh, snap!
I thought he was dead a couple times.
I got laid out so many times. I haven't played ball in a while, so like every time I was like, I think I was going too fast for myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Here's my theory. My theory was yesterday for I was thinking about it, right? That's how bad it was because I was actually thinking about it afterwards for him. I was like, why was he doing it? I was like, he was just trying to feel that physical, you know what I'm saying, when he does his euro and bump it and knock it into, trying to get that feeling back to wake him out. Back to the basketball mentality. Because he was
I was trying it,
Yeah, he was going 100 miles per hour. I'm like, everybody was like, damn, that was hella fast. He was doing a spin move, and oh my god, dude. I was like, damn,
it's like I was trying to get it. Like, I'm trying to get there. Yeah, I'm trying to get there, but it's like, man, I gotta take my time. Like I was just trying to rush it.
You're forcing the issue. You're forcing the issue.
Yeah. Exactly. I didn't let it come to me. Like, I was just trying to, I'm gonna get it. But it's like,
he was breaking ankles though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. That's the thing that a lot of basketball players, they're gonna have a hard time getting back. Initially, is just the timing and like the way, like slowing the game down, right? That's like the game moves really, really fast for a lot of people when they go up in competition, or if you haven't played in a while, like, man, just everything feels funny. The way you catch the ball feels funny. Like you might look like you're doing a good job, like, oh man, that guy's good, but like the results weren't as good as you would like them to be, or that you're used to them being, because like it's just not normal right now. Like everything is probably moving way too fast, right? Like, and that's why repetition is important, right? That's where like reps in the gym makes the game be normal, like us not picking up a basketball for so long. I know you've been playing, Ben, pretty much every day, but for me, I haven't played too much basketball during this quarantine, and it's one of those things where like I'm sure the game is going to be like moving a million miles an hour. Like I'm gonna think of a move, but it's not going to be there anymore, or like it's just going to be off. It's going to be really, really bad. So I'm looking to be falling on the floor like Ed there. Like, yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad, probably.
Yeah. It was bad, but it was fun though. It was fun getting back, like, you know what I'm saying, just getting back at the atmosphere of playing ball, like, you know what I'm saying, like that community. Like it was dope, man.
It was cool seeing everybody.
Yeah, it was good seeing everybody too. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So hey, so you have any shout outs, like, a brand, like, or anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, so everybody just go ahead and follow at Training Philosophy. That's my brand. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming out in the very near future. We're a fitness company, but I'm looking to change the way that we do things. It's not going to be super typical fitness page. And it's not just going to be a page, but, we're going to sell a lot of good stuff. We have some clothes coming out with some really cool designs that I think, will push the fitness industry a little further, being that I've been in it a long time. Yeah, I really passionately feel that we can make an impact with this brand. And then also follow me on at Benny B Fly. Lately, I've been posting too much of fitness stuff, but I will be starting to post more fitness stuff very, very soon here. So follow me on there. I have a couple surprises coming up. Little challenges and things of that sort that I used to do, I'm gonna start doing again. So yeah, we'll put all that in the description and all that, man, like all that. Cool. So it's where's the camera? Right there, you go. There it is. So yes, sir. Right there. Yeah, that's it. Follow it. Like, if y'all need them bands, yep, yes, sir. So we're gonna put all that, like, your IG and stuff like that, the IG for your training philosophy. We're gonna put it in the description and everything so people can follow it and stuff like that, man. Yep, yeah, that's dope, man. Hey, how about you, Ben? You got any shout out? Let me see your shirt. I'm proud of that. Hey. For the crate. Yeah.
Always rapping. Always rapping. We always got rapping.
Yeah, always, man. Always. Yep. I got a shout out. Yep. Yeah, I got the shout out, man. She out in LA. It's my wife's cousin. It's a skincare. Yep. Okay. So it's called Celeste
Rodriguez Skincare. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yep. So
that's here in LA. I need that. I need that.
Oh yeah, holla at her, man. Follow her, like, you know what I'm saying. She just did Offset.
Oh, that's what's up.
Offset. Yeah. With Cardi B's thing. I'm gonna show you right now. No. Yeah, man. She pretty dope. Yep. If y'all can see it. See it. Yeah. If y'all can see it, that's her right there doing Offset.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's tight.
So I mean, yeah. So she's pretty dope, man. She's pretty dope. My wife be using it too. So yeah, follow that. Like, There you
Celeste
go.
Rodriguez Skincare. Okay.
Yeah, she got
Alright.
she's based in LA.
Oh, based in LA. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Your
Yeah,
neighbor.
based in LA, man.
Yeah, my neighbor. I was going to knock on her door and say, "Hey, give me some skincare products, please, please. Me and my wife need that, please."
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's it for episode 2, man. This is dope, dog. This was dope, man. I can't thank you enough, B. Man, I appreciate you coming out. Not even
Of course,
coming out,
man.
but,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
man.
nice talking
Always,
to you guys.
man. It was dope. It was dope, man.
Hey, we're gonna come out there and go
cool.
fishing, man. We're about to.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'll bring the rods up. You got no excuse. I'm gonna chase you guys.
Hey,
we'll fish up there. I'm always down to try to
all right, man. I got water all around me out in freaking
Yes, sir.
Tracy, man. I got
we'll go hit that
everywhere.
Delta.
Oh yeah. The Delta
You're gonna
out
have
there,
to kidnap Ed, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming. I'm coming, man. Like, I never. That's right. As long as we're not in the boat, man, I'm good.
All right.
Like, we'll fish on the side of the road or some shit, but
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it'll be fun.
We'll
have
Let me know.
Ball. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Let me know. We'll plan it out.
Yes, sir. Yep, there you go, man. We got our boy Benedict Meneses from live in LA. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming out, B. Yep. Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys for having me.
Master Trainer, Mr. Clipper Nation. You know what I'm saying? Got my co-host down there, Ben. Yep. Yes, sir. I appreciate you doing what you do, man. All right, y'all. This is it. Episode 2, man. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yes, sir.